So let's get started. First thing first, we have the Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Magneto. I wanted a classic Magneto, and my god, does it look amazing. Next, we have the X-Men 97 Marvel Legends Bishop. I already have Bishop, but this Bishop looks so cool, and he probably... look, I'm going to just tell you right now. I don't know how to say his name, so it's either Bitch Up or Bish Up. Hup. Bishop. I don't know. But look, either way, it doesn't matter that these things are cool. And then I got an alert from my Best Buy app, my local Best Buy, and I was able to get Nightfall Batman. I've been looking for this thing for a very long time, so I'm really happy that I was able to find this guy. And then I go into my local Walmart, and they had Black Lightning. So, this is a big haul. But, you know, I don't really know what to do here because normally I'd go straight for these things, but because Marvel right now with Marvel Spider-Man and the new show, we're gonna go ahead and start off with Magneto. So Dylan, go ahead and take over because I don't know how to explain this. Hey guys, Dylan here. Welcome back to another action figure review, and today we're reviewing the Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Magneto. Now, apparently this show is actually based off the original animated show, which is why it's called X-Men 97. So, yeah. Also, if anyone's wondering why I use the same intro, turns out if I use the new one that I worked on, I'm gonna get copyright striked, like hard. But besides that, let's go ahead and get into the origins of Magneto. Alright, before we get started with Magneto's origin, I'm just gonna say this now. Big disclaimer. Because for people who know Magneto, you know that he went through the Holocaust. And that is a sensitive topic to talk about because, you know, the Holocaust was a real fucking thing. So, yeah, if you want to go ahead and skip the origin, if you don't want to hear any details of that, just go ahead and go skip to this mark right here, so then you guys can just go straight to the action figure. But if you guys want to know the origin and the action figure, come on, stay and let's get started. This all starts with a Jewish boy named Max living in Nuremberg, Germany in 1935. I'm pretty glad I just said that right. You see, Max's father was a soldier for Germany during World War One. And after the war was over, he was actually granted the Iron Cross and was labeled a proud son of Germany. And he stayed that way. I mean, he loved his country until things flipped over their head. At this point, people I cannot say out loud because of reasons began to persecute Jewish people of all times. And at this time, Max's father believed this was just a phase. It would disappear. It wouldn't stay forever. But he was wrong. In fact, Max's uncle was actually killed in a public execution for breaking one of their new laws that this faction brought up. It was after this that Max went into high school, and he was actually pretty cool. He had a girl that he kind of liked. He had a sport he loved too, which was jousting, but because he was Jewish, they believed he was cheating, and he was kicked out of the school. It gotten so bad that on the 9th of November 1938, he actually saw a lot of Jewish-owned businesses, even synagogues, being destroyed. It got so bad that Max's entire family was kicked out of their home for literally no other reason. They had to flee to another country, but even then, this faction was able to take over that country, so they left again. It was at this point where all Jewish people were forced to live in a Pacific town, basically as the ghetto. It was really bad. In fact, it got so bad that food rations were barely anything. People went days starving. Max, his brother, and some other person I can't really name, they started becoming smugglers, doing anything they can to feed their family. It was at this time that Max wanted to fight back against these people, but he realized that if he did, they just dropped the hammer harder on their own people. So they didn't. It was at this time that Max took his entire family and told them to run. Max, He was going to stay back and fight against them. But it didn't matter because Max's family would be caught and executed. Even he would have been shot too, but at this time, his mutant ability activated. He didn't know it at the time, but it did. They threw him in a terrible grave with the rest of his family. When he woke up, I can't even explain that kind of thing. But he was caught and brought to a concentration camp. In these camps, Max began to work very hard, taking other people's advice to make sure he never ends up in the hands of this mad scientist who is experimenting on Jewish people. The terrible thing about it is that later on the line, it would find out that this terrible person who was experimenting on them was actually Mr. Sinister. At this point, Max was encouraging everyone in those camps to just stay alive. Even his crush that he didn't even know that was in the camps. And then, one day, Crush's family was completely killed. They actually thought they killed her, but she hid under the corpse of her family. I don't know why. Okay, this is where some things kind of differ. Now, on one side, Max and a bunch of other people in the camp actually revolted and exploded a factory, and they all left during the chaos. But on the other side, they stayed there a little bit longer, and Max saved his crush, and they ran off. But either way you put it, they do meet up with each other. They stay together. They get married. They even have a kid. They start living life normally, because at this point, they believe that all their troubles are behind them, but it's not. One day, after Max had a fight with his boss after getting paid, he returns to the inn that his wife and his daughter was staying in. They were burning down the building. It was here that Max activated his mutant ability, this time on purpose instead of, having it be done on accident. And was able to save his wife, but his daughter he wasn't able to save. It was at this point Max was so rageful that his mutant ability activated in a height that was honestly just dangerous. It was so powerful he killed everyone in the area except for his wife. Speaking of his wife, she abandoned him. She was so freaked out of what he did, she just left. Max decided to change his identity and leave the state. Max actually ended up working in a hospital. It is here where he meets Charles Xavier, a fellow mutant. And I don't know how to explain it, but they just hooked. They became really good friends and having multiple philosophy talks. But this would all change when one of their patients, who I believe one of them had a relationship with, I actually don't really remember, was kidnapped by an unknown organization. It was Hydra. I'm pretty sure. I think it was Hydra. Anyway, using their mutant abilities, Max and Charles were able to save her. But sadly, this is where Max realizes that their ideals and methods just don't work. There is no such thing as coexisting with humans. Note to self, there actually was gold in this situation, and I believe they were going to return to the States, but Magneto took it instead, and this is when he began to become Magneto. I mean, that's pretty much it. That was a lot. That was, wow. Okay, let's cheer up the viewer, shall we, Dylan? Let's go ahead and get into the action figure, because the painting sculpture of this action figure is amazing. It's honestly just a classic look at Magneto, and I like it. It's just good. I love the purple, the red, all the mix-up. There are some paint chips on the purple on the wrist, but other than that, I like it. It's really, really nice. I especially love the head sculpt. I mean, I do wish it came with an alternate head, but we'll talk about that in accessories. But look at that face. I mean, honestly, you take his origin, the fact that you look at that face, that explains everything. Anyway, the point is, this thing just looks really nice, and even though it's using an old body mold, I can tell they updated it enough to where it just looks good. And honestly, it's quite alright. I love the detail on the mask too. Love the purple on there as well. It's just the cape is molded in too, so it's just amazing. For accessories, he comes with 2 fists. That's it. He doesn't come with an alternate head, just 2 fists. I mean, that's not a bad thing, definitely could do some stuff with that. And since I already have a bunch of Magneto action figures, I already have his face, but, you should have one. For articulation, like I said, even though this thing is using an old mold, it's not that bad. It looks nice, honestly. I personally freaking love it. You know, the articulation is really good. You can't take off the cape, if anyone's wondering. It's, like I said, it's molded in the front. In the back, it's not, but in the front, it is. But the articulation on this guy is really good. It's really movable. I don't know, maybe I've just got a good version of it, but everything on this thing is so perfectly loose that all I have to do is fix the arms. But that's it. Everything else on this thing just feels mind-boggling. I really like it. It's nice, honestly. Really, phone? Shut up, phone. Anyway, it's just a really good figure, honestly. The one thing that like I said, I still don't like is that the fact he doesn't come with an alternate head, but, you know, just, yeah. That's really it. Everything else on this guy looks amazing. He looks amazing, he feels amazing, character's amazing. Everything on this guy's amazing. I mean, shit, what do you want me to say? And now it's time for our rating. For painting and sculpting, I give this thing a star. Honestly, it's a classic Magneto. There's literally nothing else I need to say. I mean, I hate the body mold, but I don't know what they did. They probably just loosened this thing up. Speaking of the body mold, for accessories and articulation, it also gets a star. I don't know why, but this thing is so beautifully loose that I don't worry about it breaking. Not to mention, even though it comes with barely any accessories, it's still good enough for a great Magneto. And for pricing, this thing was $30 in Target. I had to use a discount to make it 19 bucks. So yeah, no star for that. But it doesn't change the fact that this action figure is amazing. And if you need a Magneto, then I have to say I recommend this one. I give this thing 2 stars. Now, I have no idea who to review next. It's either Black Lightning, Batman, or Bishop. You know what? I'll put up a poll. Yeah, I'll put up a voting poll for the next week. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Like this video, give me a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya!